In the fall of 2015, a group from KEEN ended a long journey by arriving in D.C. with a story to tell about the wild and untrammeled corners of our country and the value those places hold for all of us. But the words of the story belong to the people they met along the way, and the journey started 9 weeks and 7,500 miles earlier, somewhere on the other side of America. A crew from KEEN set off on a classic American road trip. Through deserts, over mountains, across the plains, and into cities. KEEN, an outdoor footwear company, born in this century and based in Portland, Oregon, decided to take a risk and make a commitment to creating lasting change. As we barrel along the road, the crew constantly changes, but the goal remains the same: to protect the places we plan for future generations and to build a movement so even when the road trip ends, the movement continues on. Our ride for the journey is a bright yellow 1976 GM CR-V, a beautiful but deeply unreliable beast, known alternately and to various people as Big Yellow, Ol' Yeller, the Twinkie, and Teddy. The spirit of Teddy Roosevelt, an early champion of conservation, is the theme of our journey, and anything unknown gets named Teddy. There's Peak Teddy, a random dog that hops on board, Teddy. There's Teddy Pass, Teddy Crossing. When cattle slow down our journey, all Teddy. And it's Teddy's words that guide us down the road. As he once said, "Here is your country. Cherish these natural wonders, cherish the natural resources, cherish the history and the romance as a sacred heritage for your children and your children's children." We think of this movement as being a direct line that starts with people like Teddy, our first conservationist president, who protected 230 million acres of wild places, and stretching on through the generations that have fought to protect these lands since then, and continuing with the movement that we're working to build today.
A legend in the world of conservation. This guy probably saved 1/3 of America's public lands in his administration. And in 1906, he talked Congress into granting him what's called the Antiquities Act.
The Antiquities Act, which since Teddy has been used by 15 presidents from both parties to protect places like Devil's Tower, Mount Rushmore, Mount St. Helens, the Statue of Liberty, and the Grand Canyon. Our movement is encouraging President Obama to use the Antiquities Act to create 5 new national monuments with a presidential decree that would protect them forever. To that end, we've chosen 5 of the most incredible natural places in America and partnered with local advocacy groups to make them the focus of our movement, like Friends of Nevada Wilderness in Gold Butte, the Oregon Natural Desert Association in the Oahe Canyonlands, the California Wilderness Coalition in Mojave Trails, the Idaho Conservation League in Boulder White Clouds, and the West Virginia Wilderness Coalition in Birthplace of Rivers. With Teddy as our spirit animal, 4 captains from KEEN lead our journey: Kirk, Kirsten, Linda, and Chris.
You can't possibly describe the feeling of standing here.
Play, recreate, explore, learn, and create places where people can fall in love with the world we live in.
It's about inspiring all of us to live in favor of the future by protecting our country's greatest treasures.
If all we do is inspire people to get outside and explore our country's public lands, then this is a win. But on our way to building a movement, we struggle constantly to keep the trip going.
As wildfires fill the West, at one point we nearly have to turn around when they consider closing the road we're on so it can be used as a fire break. Although we make it through, our troubles aren't over. The RV struggles on hills and with the heat and with basically everything.
We checked the oil, filled it up, and we decided to drive down the street without putting the oil cap.
The wipers don't work anymore.
And all these parts broke.
For it. Oh my God. We don't have brakes.
This is super dangerous.
There's a real sense of frustration every time we break down because we feel the clock ticking as destructive uses threaten to permanently alter these iconic landscapes.
We're reminded at every breakdown of Teddy's words that it's not what we have that will make us a great nation. It's the way in which we use it. Our goal is to help build communities of supporters to speak up for these places that can't speak up for themselves.
That means the bus needs to keep moving. So with a lot of help and some kitchen sink ingenuity, we pull it together.
And with the RV god satisfied, we push on. We drive through places with honest-to-God names like Chicken Dinner Road, the River of No Return, Skull Road, Mountain Home, and Rawhide Road. We cook outside, bathe in rivers, and dry our clothes out the window, and we make all our destinations because there's work to be done.
KEEN is a brand born of and for the outdoors.
And we feel it's our responsibility to protect the places we love.
But the heart of this work has always been the passionate, dedicated nonprofits that have been working tirelessly to protect these places.
We want to use our business to put a spotlight on their work, to help raise the awareness needed to ensure permanent protection for these wild places.
This tour is all about trying to show you're not alone. There's a whole group of people who care deeply, care profoundly about creating lasting change.
At every stop, we meet people who are super inspired by these places, and it's their inspiration that fuels our journey.
I am not really alone. If there are stars in the sky.
Gold Butte comprises 350,000 acres. The geology was defined by the same processes that built the Grand Canyon. We refer to it as Nevada's piece of the Grand Canyon.
This place has been over millions of years, been eroded away by wind, sand, water, and it just creates these amazing formations. And when you go out there, you just feel like you're in a dream. I mean, it feels like you're in a Salvador Dali painting, and you're just wondering to yourself, is this real?
Protecting these places doesn't mean locking a gate and throwing away business. Instead, the recreation-based economies that develop around these areas provide sustainable growth for local communities.
Back in Theodore Roosevelt's day, folks didn't want to protect the Grand Canyon. They thought it was silly. And now look at Arizona. I mean, it's probably their #1 tourist attraction.
Native American history in Gold Butte goes back at the very least 3,000 years and perhaps as much as 10,000 years. There were a number of waves of different cultures that moved through the area at different times and left behind the magnificent petroglyphs which pepper so many areas in Gold Butte.
Further into the journey, we park the RV at the Three Forks Overlook, and we spend 3 days exploring the Oahe with Corey, a lifelong Oregonian.
It's a very remote place. It's a very beautiful place. Truly about as far as you can get from anything.
Beautiful, unspoiled, unpopulated space, and I feel like I'm a small dot in the middle of this vast expanse.
You're gonna find rolling plateaus full of sagebrush, incredible sage-grouse habitat. You're gonna find these really steep canyons carved by pristine rivers. It's just a really special, special place.
We dropped into the canyon. It was absolutely breathtaking.
Some of the darkest night skies that you'll see in the entire nation. So the stargazing here is world class. Its remoteness has protected it for a really long time, but we are starting to see things like mines and energy corridors start to claw at the edges of this really special place.
Kirsten and the RV really seem to get each other, and she gives it the constant attention it needs to keep going, including daily oil checks on a dipstick that's taller than she is. Later, we make it to West Virginia and explore the source of much of the East Coast's clean drinking water.
The people in West Virginia take so much pride in our state. I like to call it America's best kept secret because no one really knows about it, except the people who are here.
West Virginians have a strong history of trying to protect this place, the place that we know of as birthplace of rivers.
They're looking for a sense of place and a place that really means something for them to be able to raise their family.
6 rivers begin in this area. You know, they go on to contribute to much bigger watersheds, serve millions of people all around the East Coast. This is the birthplace of rivers.
West Virginia, put itself on the map as a resource extraction state.
And we're struggling right now to get past our history and our reliance on extractive industry and diversify our economy. Being able to use this place as an economic resource in a sustainable way that gives us an opportunity to improve our economy forever.
With an average speed of 45 miles an hour, we spend a lot of our journey appreciating the places in between.
Right now we're in Boulder White Clouds.
It's the largest unprotected roadless area in the lower 48 states. I guess I should qualify that. It used to be.
After 40 years, literally, of wrangling.
My boss was working on this before I was born.
In 1 week, it went from possible, maybe, probable, done. And wow.
Well, last Friday, I was honored to be part of a group of people that was standing in the West Wing of the White House, and the door opened and President Obama invited us into the Oval Office, and I stood behind him as he signed this wilderness bill that protected 275,000 acres of central Idaho.
The success of Boulder White Clouds gives us some perspective, that while the journey may be long, the destination is worth it. Here's Rick and Alan in the 80s when they first started working to protect this landscape.
It means that generations from now, people will be able to know with confidence it will be exactly the way it is today. It is a tremendous place, and it will be that way forever.
Months after we celebrated the success of Boulder White Clouds, President Obama took action and designated the Mojave Trails National Monument.
The desert isn't a barren wasteland. There's so much out there. This area is of critical importance. It's habitat for many animals. It's also filled with importance for Native Americans.
And out there on that section of road, there's nothing but a viewscape. But the view is so awesome and so inspiring. And that's the same view that people in the 1920s, when Route 66 came about, that's the same view they saw.
We take great heart knowing these places have been protected. But there's more to do.
None of this work started with us, and it doesn't end with us either.
Everything that's been done to protect these places, and all that's yet to be done, has been accomplished through engagement, by building support, by creating a movement of passionate and engaged citizens. And every stop along the way, we build support and collect signatures. And with every signature, the movement grows.
To know these places is to love them. And the more we know, the greater the sense of urgency.
Every mountain pass, every crystal clear stream and desert sunset only reminds us that if we want it, this feeling can last forever.
It already belongs to all of us. And if we stand up and make our voices heard, it always will.
We ended our cross-country road trip in Washington, D.C., where we told the stories of the voices we heard along the way.
But the work doesn't end here. We need you to stand up and add your voice to the great story of conservation in America. A story that began with Teddy Roosevelt when he said, "Of all the questions which can come before this nation, there is none which compares to the importance of the central task of leaving this land even a better land for our descendants than it is for us. Like many of the best experiences, you kind of had to be there. But as the movement grows, every day more and more people are out there with us, so that even when the road trip ends, the movement lives on, growing strength every day. And we take comfort in the thought that even after we're gone, and old Teddy turns to rust, and all memory of our journey dissolves, that our favorite places will remain, ever wild and free.
Song. It won't take too long. And I'll sing it right just once or twice. Oh Lord, me didn't I shake sugary? Everything I've got is down in palm. Everything I've got is down in palm. I pawn my hat, I pawn my shoes, I pawned everything that I ever used. Oh Lord, me, didn't I shake sugary? Everything I've got is down in palm. Everything I've got down in palm. I chew my tobacco, I spit my juice. I would raise Cain, but it ain't no use. Oh Lord, me, didn't I shake sugary? Everything I've got is down in palm. I have a little secret I ain't gonna tell. I'm going to heaven, but maybe hell. Oh Lord, me, didn't I shake sugary? Everything I've got